Well, I saw another dumb thing on the internet today. It's an article asking why millennials don't buy boats. Now, I thought they were going to come to a particular conclusion because in the article they had graphs and charts, which are two of my favorite things after cats and pizza rolls. And in those graphs and charts, it showed that millennials as a generation have less money and assets than baby boomers at the same age. And nobody cares about Generation X. No, they can go get out of here. And so I thought they were going to come to the conclusion that millennials don't have money to buy a boat. And part of the article even attempts to say that. But they came to the conclusion that it's not because millennials don't have money to buy a boat. They are preferring to rent boats or use their parents' boat or boats. And they came to this conclusion by guessing. They just said, well, we don't have the numbers on the number of people who use boats, so therefore the number of people who use boats has not gone down. Even though they had a chart that showed that's the case. So I don't know why they lied and said there's no statistics on that when they showed us a graph on it. Graph or chart, I love them both. And so I was looking all over this place for my parents' boat. I could not find it. And there's videos where I go through the whole house. It takes me about 10 seconds to get to the other end of the house. So if there's a boat here, it's got to be up in the attic. I don't know how they would have gotten it up there, but it must be up there. I'm pretty sure they don't have any storage somewhere. Maybe they do, they just haven't told me because they don't want me to use their boat and get Cheeto dust all over the place. So, I think that millennials don't buy boats because they don't have money to buy boats. Now, I realize that makes absolutely no sense because, as we all know, that if you want to buy a boat, you don't need money. You just get a boat. You just wish and it appears, which, by the way, eventually you'll be able to do in virtual reality, and then who cares about the real world? But until that point happens, and full body virtual reality, so you can feel everything. Until that happens, we're going to have to deal with the fact that boats do not just appear out of nothing. You know, we can ask this about everything else. For example, why do millennials buy fewer pills? Because they don't have money, right? No. Because they don't need as many pills. They're much more powerful today. And your average millennial can they're starving to death, not me, as you can see. And so you take the powerfulnesses of the pills, and and these millennials they're starving to death already, so they have barely anything on them. They take a couple of pills, they're out, they're dead right then and there. You don't have to wait. You don't need these gigantic 500 pill bottles anymore. Just take a handful of them, gone. Me, I'd have to take an elephant's dose just to feel anything. I'm so big and fat because I eat all the food in the house. I'm an older millennial, and apparently I have something in common with 20-year-olds. We're all very beautiful, handsome. Men can't be beautiful. That's a baby boomer told me that. What I'm surprised is that we're not seeing articles about Generation Z, because they are entering college this year, or maybe next year. It depends. It depends on what you're talking about. Why don't we see articles about them? Why aren't they buying boats? Well, we see articles about them Actually, that's right. They don't have articles about why they're buying boats. There's articles saying, why is Generation Z so filled with anxiety? Gee, I don't know. Maybe it's all your dumb articles that can't get to the freaking point. That completely miss the point. You don't even have a point, and somehow you miss it. Millennials don't have money. So what the hell do you think the next generation's going to think? Oh, well, the millennials don't have money because they're all saving it for us? No. They're going to say, oh, we're going to have even less money. And millennials don't have anything. So imagine less than nothing, which is debt. Which I guess millennials do have debt. So imagine even more debt. Imagine super debt. I'm going to write an article. It's called, Why Are Millennials Buying More Guns That Face the Wrong Way? And it's going to be 10,000 words. I'm going to come to the conclusion that millennials are dumb. They don't know which way guns are supposed to face. And if you don't get it, the barrel is pointing backwards. There's pictures of that kind of thing. I don't think that kind of gun would work, though. If you know how to make guns, don't make one like that, and don't test it on yourself, you idiot. Like, you should know better than that. Probably a millennial. There's another dumb thing about that article. It was on Reddit. In the comments, where people were saying, man, yeah, they're right. My boat cost too much. Like, what the hell are you talking about? Your boat cost? Why didn't you buy a boat in the first place? That article obviously isn't talking about you if you could buy a boat at all. And of course, they don't sell their boat. They complain about how much it costs, and you sell it. You tell them, oh, why don't you sell it? Well, maybe one day I might want to use my boat. But it's too expensive to use it, so I'm not going to use it now. They're a bunch of dummies. I bet none of you guys have a boat. I don't have a boat. I haven't been in the water for over a decade. That includes taking a shower. So I'm very stinky. I bet I could have a toy boat and put it in the bathtub. But then some ignorant economic journalist will write an article that says, this millennial figured out how to buy a... Man, I'm ignorant too. This millennial figured out how to buy a boat, and if you can't do it, you're an idiot. That's what the headline will say. And they won't give away that it's just a toy boat until the end. And you'll think the whole thing is sarcastic, and it's not. They're saying, well, this guy was able to buy a toy boat, so obviously he doesn't have any problems anymore. You know, the best part about waking up every day is reading really terrible news articles about people like me by ignorant economic journalists. And I am desperately trying to figure out how you be one of those. Because you obviously don't need to know anything. You don't have to know how to write either. Some of these people, holy crap. What? It's like, did they not learn English? They must not know English. Maybe that's the thing. Maybe these articles are being written somewhere else, being translated by a very old machine translation system, and then throwing it online. That would make a lot of sense. That would be why I can't find the jobs and why the articles are written so terribly. Well, nothing will ever get better. And anybody who says it will, well, you're lying. You big fat liar. It's okay. I can say fat because I'm fat. But if you're not fat, you're not allowed to say it. You liar.